for the very first ever Southern...
Attention. Attention, please. You are receiving a pirate radio transmission.
My name's Jimmy. This Aftermath FM. Great show with Clyde Lewis and the gang. Stay tuned. Into the Microcosm is on the air. This ain't your granddaddy's talk radio. This late night Aftermath FM. My name's Jimmy. Into the Microcosm is on the air. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, we are getting everything set here, ready to go. Got a great show planned for you tonight. We make Metallica get back in the green room over there. Once I let him out of the green room, it's hard to get him to go back. Like I said, my name's Jimmy. Hey, welcome. It's the voice of the counterculture. Tune in, turn on, and find out right here, Aftermath.fm. Clyde Lewis and them ripped it up. And we're here coming in at the end of a long, hard Monday, ladies and gentlemen. And no way better to do that than to get into it. Here we go. Epic Journeyman, are you there?
I am here.
Excellent. Hey, that's a cheap sounding Hawaii 5-0 theme there. Sounds like a canned, crappy one. I don't know what happened to that thing. I don't know.
Like straight from the TV, like in the corner.
Yeah.
Like the old black and white.
Yeah, yeah. Somebody was recording it with their old Walkman.
Cassette tape.
Yeah, the Walkman. So there he is, ladies and gentlemen, Epic Journeyman. So how's the weather over in Hawaii? What's going on over on the islands, brother? Give everybody the island report from Speculation Island. How's everything going?
It was pretty nice. I mean, it's a Monday and all, and it's been a busy Monday. But I tell you what, like I was coming home, and I have to drive by the beach on the way home every day because it's an island, And the guys were out there with those electric surfboards. My God, man, I want one of those things. I want one of those things so bad. They're hydrofoils, They get up there, you get up above the water and flat book,
I know.
And yeah, they're awesome.
Those things, what do they cost? Like those things are like $10,000,
$12,000, yeah.
yeah. But I mean, I'm sure it is worth every bit, every penny. Just to be gliding over the top of the waves. I think they, didn't they design those foils on the big waves originally without motors? These things have motors, ladies and gentlemen. So you're literally floating above everything. No choppy waters to deal with, none of that. Right, Epic? I mean, so what, are they renting these things out over there or what?
I'm going to have to find out. They started opening up the surf shops again. Things are starting to open up, and I bet they do, because I just don't think there's that many people that can afford them. I mean, I'd love to get one, man. I would. They're really cool. Well, because yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say there's some new hoverboards that came out earlier that people were raving about that cost like $12,000. I don't know what they are. There's some sort of a drone style hoverboard. But you know what? She's here. She's there. She's everywhere. She's the sugar in your coffee. She's the honey in your tea. It's Danni, and she is unusual.
Walking alone on a cold night, chills rattle through my bones. The way she looks, it shocks me. Standing at the door that leads below.
The mistress of Aftermath Late Night, Danni. Are you there?
Uh-oh, I'm there.
Oh, good. Glad to see you. Good to see you. And you can see Danni if you wish, because we simulcast on YouTube into the Microcosm with Jimmy G and Strike Zone, and you can find Danni and I over there. Epic Journeyman remains on camera. No camera for Epic Journeyman. He is completely anonymous. Matter of fact, I don't even know his real name. I've known him for 3 years. And all I know him as is the Epic
It's not
Journeyman.
my real name. We met when we were kids.
I know. You guys want to trip out? Check this out. So after, we had been on the air for a few years and was sitting there, and Epic Journeyman says to me, Danni, said, hey, Jimmy, when you were in junior high, did you have a light blue Flexi Bane skateboard? And I said, yeah. Believe it or not, Epic Journeyman and I have met when I was in junior high.
That's insane.
Is that not insane? That is crazy, right? I mean,
that's Matrix insane.
You know what's even more insane is that Epic Journeyman had a video store in Vegas, and Mr. Gates, another member of the Aftermath staff, actually went to Epic Journeyman's video store and rented videos from Epic Journeyman.
That's
No
a fact.
way.
It's not even a joke. Seriously. So hey,
You guys are messing with me now.
no, we're not. So listen, hey, ladies and gentlemen. So tonight, here on the show, we got a good one planned for you. We found a book we think you're going to really be interested in. I can't really put my finger on anybody who's really brought it necessarily to the table specifically before. So we're going to bring it to the table tonight. Danny's taking a look at it today, and I've been a bit busy, and Epic Journeyman, he's got a few things here. So what about this? There's something in the air. I don't know if you guys feel it, but I mean, there's something seems to be in the air. Like today, for example, here in Northern California, it was unseasonably cold, like almost winter, like November going into December cold, wind blowing, cutting. I go out to the mall, where the shopping center is, where the grocery store and all this. There's nobody anywhere. It's literally, it's like a ghost town. So, I mean, there seems to be some sort of an electricity in the air, Danny.
It might have something to do with that full moon in Scorpio, Jimmy.
The
What do you
full
think?
moon in Scorpio tonight, eh?
Yeah.
Why don't you break us off a piece about that? Because I'd like to hear exactly what's going on, because I feel the hairs on my back of my neck standing up.
Well, I mean, you're a werewolf.
I know, I could be.
So full moon's always going to do that to you anyway. But this one in particular is kind of, it's not nasty. I was almost said kind of nasty. I think it probably depends on who you are, but I don't have a full grip on astrology in terms of how it, things affect each individual sign and each person, but more of a collective influence. And I like to try to think of, what I understand about it, and then go listen to other people talk about their understanding. And it's full on. It doesn't matter who you go ask. It's the same. There is just supposed to be, and I mean, it's not even supposed to be, I'm sure you can feel it, this collective consciousness feeling of something's got to give. Something's about to snap.
Yeah.
And people are tired of it, of being stuck under the boot of the man, the oppression of the, stay in your house and don't be a normal person. And my favorite thing I heard today when I was listening to this lady was the influence that it would have on leaked secrets of the elite. I mean, come on. And how, exposure on exposure on their plans and on what they're doing and on their lies. And and that's, I mean, it just so much stuff just like that. Just one thing after not everything I read, every chart I looked at, it's all the same. It's a new, like, Breaking Bad paradigms and this insane energy. And it's not like when you have, like a kind of oh yeah, I can see that happening over the next couple of years. No, this is supposed to be like a rapid, in your face, that just happened.
Well, I mean, even Clyde Lewis was saying earlier on his show, he was saying he's had enough. He's sick of it. I mean, lots of people have reached this boiling point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They've been turning the heat up slowly turning it up. The bullshit about the frog in the pot. You've heard it a million times. Well, hey, man, the water's gotten hot enough where people are getting ready to jump out. And so what else is going on with this full moon in Scorpio now? Is there any other extreme ideas that come forward through some of the energies that are presenting themselves through this alignment?
I mean, on a personal level, for people, there can be tension in relationships, especially if you're affected by it personally. And, where one person kind of needs some space. And I think overall, on any sign, really, people are going to have a feeling, or could, of, oh, that person is, they're thinking bad things about me. They're picking on me. But outside of that, it's really more about the collective thing. And but in terms of that unexpected, well, not unexpected, that rapid, in your face change, it's might not be what the kind of change that people are expecting. That's what I meant by unexpected. So yeah, there's going to be something happening, but it's probably not going to be what you think it is. And so who knows? Who
knows?
It's not going to be the frog in the pot, and who knows what's going to be boiling, but it's going to be instant noodles, something like that.
Well, I heard frog legs smell like fish but taste like chicken. I don't know. I've had them, but I can't remember what they smelled like. I do remember they tasted like chicken.
But I've heard some stuff like that.
Yeah, but the thing about it is that Scorpio seems to have a big influence in a lot of sexual energies. Like, for example, like when you're at a bar and some dude comes up and goes, "Hey, I'm a Scorpio," or whatever. That usually means they're into the sex or whatever. They're really, sexual people. So is there anything did you notice anything as far as that full moon having anything to do sexually with people being, extra aroused at this time?
Yes, I did. Yes. And that is a thing also. And people taking like a grip on that energy, and which that can go sour depending on who you are. Like, if you're married and stuff and it's not your partner that you're taking a grip on. But you just reminded me of my favorite meme about myself being a Gemini. It says, when Gemini meets Scorpio, it's a person with a scorpion up in the air about to eat it. So at the bar, if you're gonna say something like that to me, well, you're gonna get something back.
That's right. You better watch out, because what was that? It was Full Moon Hillbilly Explosion. What was the name of that?
Hillbilly Moon Explosion.
Yeah, Hillbilly Moon Explosion. Get on your knees.
Now you got me not sure, but yes, that's damn fine video.
Get on your knees if you go over to see and you try to step to Danni and say you're a Scorpio at the bar. Epic Journeyman, are you that? What's going on?
I was about to hit the bar.
I know.
No, I'm here.
What is going on with this?
It's time to do it.
The full moon now. Are you seeing any kind of tidal? You seeing any shifts or big waves in your area? On the islands, are the waves unusually big at this time for any reason?
Actually, no. They've been surprisingly small. It's been really calm and flat, like amazingly so the last week, pretty much.
Well,
I mean, that's why those guys with their motorized, hydrofoil surfboards are making a big impression on me because they're out there having a blast. No wave required, you know.
well, we had an earthquake here in Northern California last night, 4 point something or whatever. Rattled the windows. I didn't hear it. I didn't even wake up. But it was, apparently there was. So, I mean, there's just been something in the air. There's just something. I don't know. I don't know if it's the full moon in Scorpio. That I don't know. I do know that, if you've been doing anything and now the moon is full and it's going to start to wane, the energy will start to wane in your project. So hopefully if you were doing something, you got everything done up until this point, the moon going into its full phase, and then, obviously waning, the energy will wane. So we always want to try to get everything done, all the energy work done prior to the full moon. Then, of course, it depends on what kind of magic you might be into. Some people find the full moon waning as a destructive mechanism to help destroy things. So midnight, full moon, midnight on the West Coast is the witching hour on the East Coast. So we never know. I mean, we never know what's going to happen with these moons. We never know what's going to happen with the magic. There's magic, there's workings, there's gremlins everywhere, ladies and gentlemen. There's a gremlin in the machine. A lot of people don't even realize there was a gremlin that was put into the internet by who not be named Epic. He released it in. It was called. I can't remember the name of the working. Do you remember the name of the working that they did to release this demon into the internet?
I have it on the tip of my tongue. I don't have it at the moment. It's amazing actually. They did it to it tags on to every transaction, every single one, every binary transaction. I mean, absolute yes or no. It's there. It's freaking awesome if you think about it. If it's real, if it really works that way, because it means that every single thing that has a transaction on the internet is monitored by this thing. They claim it's real. Are you talking
about the sentient world simulation?
No, this is from the Process Church,
yeah,
and it was one of the guys working for He Who Shall Not Be Named.
It's Aquino. We're talking about Aquino.
Yeah.
So. So he put the internet, he put the ethos on the internet, and it's in, the demons are there, the gremlins. So and speaking of gremlins, Danny, let's get into this book that we're going to talk about tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We're also going to be talking about a group of people that may or may not have a big influence on the world that we see today, and it's a subject matter that doesn't get touched on too much, and a lot of times people that do make a career out of this particular type of information, about this group itself, a lot of these people that have made careers out of writing books and this and that about this group have ended up in situations where their lives weren't very comfortable for them. That's the Committee of 300, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Committee of 300, and a book that we're going to get into tonight that I don't think a lot of people are aware of. So, Danny, why don't you go ahead and make people aware of this jewel of literary magnificence that we've dusted out of the memory hole and brought back into the attention of the general public and ourselves. I mean, we've learned just by merely reading some of these pages here. Why don't you let everybody know exactly what it is and what we found here?
Gremlins, all right. Focus of Demons, Real Gremlins in the Works is the title. And it is everything you thought you might have heard in a conspiracy circle about the elites, and it just explodes in your mind. I mean, I don't even know if I would be able to read the whole thing. I haven't. And it's got, the plans for taking down. If you've ever heard of Agenda 21, it's like Agenda 21 is the toddler version of this book. It's got, the 300 people that are really controlling everything, and they make who you would think, like Ted Turner, they make him look like, just a commoner in comparison to the wealth of these people, and nothing in the world happens if they don't approve of it. And I mean, just the page that you told me to focus on is wow. It's terrifying, but then at the same time, it's, the guy, the Dr. Coleman guy, he's, he doesn't want you to be gripped in fear by it. But I mean, it's about, making that one world thing and shutting down, getting rid of borders, because there is only one world. There's only one country, one government, and there'll be the complete power and seat of control over everybody. And there will be nothing you can say or do that won't be monitored. And if you say or do the wrong thing, you'll be gotten rid of. And then, you, like the Georgia Guidestones I was talking to you about earlier, it's, the 500 million population suggestion gets people kind of triggered, and it's right up the alley of that. And it's, controlling birth and controlling where you live and breaking down America, the entire Western civilization, obviously, for something like that to occur. That has to be gotten rid of.
Let's get into some of the text of it in a moment, but in the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a chunk right here. Ladies and gentlemen, it's into the microcosm aftermath.fm. Tune in, turn on, and find out. Committee of 300 right here, right now.
Committee of 300. Coleman's monograph lays out the objectives of the 300, many which are today plainly obvious in the political and social realms. First and foremost, the establishment of a one-world government, commonly referred to as the New World Order. This can only be accomplished by the destruction of national identity and national pride. In his book, Between Two Ages, America's Role in the Technotronic Era, Brzezinski writes that the technotronic era involves the gradual appearance of a more controlled society, dominated by an elite not beholden to traditional values and morality. The final objective, according to Coleman, is the creation of human-like robots and a system of terror which would make Felix Dzerzhinsky's Red Terror look like children at play. Endless manufactured crises is another strategy to demoralize and weaken the population of America. This strategy is now obvious as scandals, warfare between controlled political factions, and social depravity and breakdown dominate the corporate media landscape. Coleman discusses the effort by the elite to destroy Christianity, subvert education, and dumb down the population. And most importantly, manufacture economic crisis to destroy America, impoverish its people, and reduce them to the status of feudal serfs. It's important we put all of this into perspective and actively work to educate ourselves about the agenda of the ruling elite. Failing to do so will ultimately result in the endgame, a one-world dictatorship ruled by the financial elite, the hidden aristocracy, a world no longer able to determine its own destiny and facing extinction.
My name's Jimmy. It's Aftermath.fm. Late night. I can feel it in the air, ladies and gentlemen.
And I've been waiting for this moment
You'll own nothing and love it. Own nothing and have everything. The Committee of 300, they've already decided how it's going to be. And now, the only thing we got to do is take a look at what it looks like when people are not going to go down easy. People ain't going to lay down. Don't lay down, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to stand up. Stretch. It's Aftermath.fm.
It's all been a pack of lies. And I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh Lord. Well, I've been waiting for
Epic Journeyman. Are you there?
I was meditating.
I know, you meditating on the Committee of 300. Why don't you break us off a piece of Epic Journeyman, Epic Journey through the Committee of 300 right now. Top of the hour. We got 1 hour left, 60 minutes, 60 short minutes, man. Not enough time. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, it brings it all together in a way that other books have mentioned before. This is from 1994, I believe. It's the original document. And they talk about like the things that were originally brought up in Gary Allen's book, None Dare Call It Conspiracy, and some of the things that Cooper talked about later in Behold the Pale Horse. It's kind of inspired by this. But it basically mentions specifically the organizations we all talk about all the time, the Jesuits, the Club of Rome, what we call the Illuminati, all these different things. Like they're all just branches of one force, right? It's not like one overseeing force. It's actually just all these organizations that work to the same goal. And I thought it was interesting that he tied it into H.G. Wells, actually. Like H.G. Wells wrote the original manifesto for this, and I thought that was particularly interesting.
That is interesting. So, why don't we do this? Do you want to take a quick gander at that, Danny, and just read it's not an introduction, it's the end, and then we can get into page 107, and I will put the link in the chat for this document, for this book, and you guys can have a read on your own. I'll put it in the chat room over here at Aftermath Media live. At least there's like 35 people over there in the chat, so I'll drop it in there. You guys, I'll shout you out in a minute. Go ahead, Danny. Tell everybody it's the introduction, but explain what is. It's the end, not the beginning. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll go ahead. You want me to go ahead and read that page?
Yeah, go ahead.
About?
Yeah, go ahead.
Under the title Introduction, it says, "We continue to call these first writings of a journal an introduction. It is misnamed, just as many things are mislabeled in your daily progress. I'm not introducing anything to you in actuality. It is simply a way to end a journal." Yes, I said end. As the days pass in the writings, we end up at chop-off point, and herein I'm given a last chance to comment. Due to the type of our writings, it would be more accurately called editorial comment. However, even that doesn't fit because I've made so many comments as to be totally dull and boring. Dharma is waiting for the next phase, hopefully a better phase, to begin our work. She is tormented by lawyers, courts, frustrations, personal withoutness in a worldly perception, and another journal goes to bed with need of an introduction and title. Dedication becomes all but obsolete as I now dedicate everything to the preserving and resolute ones of truth, that you may ever be an opening to the truth as God ordains. Worst of all, however, is the waiting upon the Lord, so that proper sequence can be the structure of that which we present. The spirit is willing, the human aspect impatient, and often worn for all of you. So he's talking about his other journals, other writings of meetings and stuff that he's, but, alluding to that time is really short because of the plan that's set in motion. And man, I'm really in shock of like a lot of the stuff that I thought I knew and understood over the last few years of looking into this kind of thing, and then just seeing a deeper level
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's pretty intense. Epic Journeyman, you had a chance to take a look at some of this material here. Let's jump, Danny. Go ahead and jump down to that page 107, and a little bit before page 106 as well. Epic Journeyman. Now you had a chance to take a look at the chapter before and after what we're talking about here. What did you think of the conversation that you were reading in there?
I thought it was interesting that it ties in all the things that we kind of talk about matter-of-factly now, and it's kind of in the conspiracy world like it's a canon. And it lays it all out there. It names all the factions like I mentioned earlier, and it links them in a way that really ties a lot to what, like Danny said, the Georgia Guidestones. I mean, specifically mentions knocking the population down to under 1 billion people that are selected by the elites who will rule. And in the absolute crux of this, the most important part of it is to eliminate the middle class. Middle class has to be eliminated. It can only be the overlord, so to speak, of the elite wealthy and the workers. Totally the world of Metropolis, exactly what it describes. There's no in between.
No, there is no in between. And the thing is we're on the precipice of this moment where things are about to change in a big way. And it also was described in what Danny was talking about with this full moon in Scorpio and this imminent change. Is it going to be this? Is it going to be this ripping of the Band-Aid, just right off, just rip it right off, or is it going to be like the slow dance?
I mean, last year when I was looking into the astrology of this year, it was already talking about regime change, even paradigm shifts, but that being driven by Jupiter, that it would be a slow progress, but not this full moon, not the way everything is sitting. And it's I don't know, even still Uranus, it's Uranus. Okay, come on, people, it's Uranus.
Deep.
Is going to be having, it represents, it's Earth, and where its location is going to be even already says like new world order situation. I mean, people who don't even talk about that kind of stuff, but talk about astrology, the astrology of this year, we're saying things like that, a new type of world, without even realizing it was coming out of their mouth. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know that specifically means that over the next week it's going to be exploding into this world, new world order. But something I do know is that it could go either way. The way, if people could wake up, and that is what another thing about this full moon is, in addition to the need to escape, there's also, rebellion, because of the disclosure, and disclosure because of the rebellion, and a widespread awakening. So I think, you've probably been hearing stuff about awakening for a decade or two, at least, just in mainstream, what you would consider, yoga hippie types, but it's like on everybody's lips now, awaken, I'm awake, and we're having this great awakening. And
yeah, they're woke.
Yeah, woke. Oh yeah, no, it's super woke.
I'm woke.
But I think it's going to depend on how much fear people are gripped in, that strangling fear that they are driving down our throat. If people can get away from the TV, get away from that fear, the false flag stuff, and stop being hypnotized by that, then we can use our minds, and we can shift it toward our side. But that's going to take a lot.
You said the word hippie, and then immediately in the chat room over on Into the Microcosm of Jimmy G and Strike Zone, immediately you said hippie, and immediately John said yoga pants. So that goes back to
Penelope.
Yeah, we did a show a little while back, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, it's not a show for radio because you got to see the video, but it was a reference to a hippie girl who's very adept at local positioning as far as yogic stretching. It's Into the Microcosm. Wakey, wakey.
throw you across the street, cause you're precious. Moving through the Cleveland heat, how precious. You're taking nights and all the kicks are so precious. But you know I was shitting bricks, cause I ain't precious. Make me wanna, make me wanna, make me make it on some me.
That is the Pretenders doing Precious.
I love that song.
I know. It's a great song. You know, somebody modern, like a millennial artist, should redo that song. But I don't think they could ever get the salty dog attitude of Chrissy Hines. We're in it, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Jimmy, Aftermath FM. We're in the season of the witch.
When I look out my window, many sights to see. And when I look in my window, so many different people to be, that it's strange, so strange. You got to pick up every stitch. You got to pick up every stitch.
That's right. You gotta pick up every stitch. Mom's Jimmy. It's into the microcosm. It's Aftermath FM. Tune in, turn on, and find out right here every night, Monday through Friday, 10:30 to midnight. Epic Journeyman. Oh, yeah.
I'm here. I'm breaking out my tie-dye.
I know.
Getting all hippified over here.
You got
so
your yoga pants on?
No yoga pants. No yoga pants.
I
No,
don't have
can't
any.
do it.
Yeah, I don't have any. I don't have any yoga pants either. But you know, that's always. I mean, you know, I guess yoga pants are for ladies and kilts are for men.
You know, kilts. There's a lot of common sense in kilts. You know.
There is.
Actually.
I mean, you got to lean back and breathe. You know, mix. You know, you're all bound up. It keeps you all tight and buckled up.
It occurred to me the bagpipes are probably there to hide your junk when you sit down. You set your bagpipes down, to be courteous,
You know why? Do you know why they call it a kilt?
I do not actually.
Because the last guy that called it a dress got killed. That's why.
Yep. There you go.
So does that mean you're not wearing anything under that kilt there? So you have to hide some stuff with your bagpipes?
I definitely am not wearing anything under my kilt, and that is my bagpipes. Those are my bagpipes. Sorry about that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So there's 550 some odd people over there at Aftermath.fm in the chat room. People are lively. They're swinging from the rafters. I think there might have even been a short twerk contest going on there with when Donovan was on. So I'm gonna roll over to the chat room. Or actually, Danny, you're in the chat room, aren't you?
I was in the chat and it locked up, so I had to close the tab. Okay. I'm gonna go back.
Well, if you go back, why don't you go back and shout everybody out in the chat room? Because I mean, they're up late, they're hanging out with us. Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna start. Not this week, but the following Tuesday, next Tuesday, we're going to start doing Truckers Tuesday. And we got a bunch of trucker friends that, familiar with the show, love the show. We're going to have them call in, and we're going to do specifically on Tuesday night. It's going to be Trucker Tuesdays. We'll get these truckers to tune in, give us a call from the road, crank their horns, and get into some discussions here. We're going to open up some phone lines. I might even open up the phone lines a little bit later, in a little bit, in like 30 minutes, I think maybe, if you guys are still here hanging out. I think I'll open up the phone lines and see if we can get some calls from some listeners, see what they're up to, see what they're thinking about. But let's get back into this. Do you guys want to get back into this and start on page 106 and just read through that, Danny? So we can
Before
get
we do that, I would like to remind
Yes.
Mr. Epic that in the 70s, men's pants were even tighter than yoga pants, and there was not even any stretch to that. So I didn't even know how you guys got them things on your butts. How did that work?
It was life before high fructose corn syrup.
Yeah, that's true. There was no, yeah. So, I don't know. You used to have to get in those, man, those Sassoons or whatever. They had, I mean, skinny jeans.
Vidal Sassoons.
Yeah, they you got your Sassoons.
I've seen some of those.
I might even still have a pair of those laying around here somewhere.
Uh-oh.
I know. Well, I don't know, man. I couldn't really fit in those. You know,
I'll take a drink of my tea, and I will read this shit, and we will handle it.
All right, so listen, ladies and gentlemen, come on down and support Free Speech Aftermath Media. Become a supporter. You can go over there, type in aftermath.fm/microcosm, and you should be taken to our landing page. And if you want to support the show, we will get a piece of that action, and we appreciate that because, you know, we don't do this for the money. And but, you know, occasionally we like to have a cup of coffee here and there. So you guys want to give us a little bit of support, we appreciate it. Every single bit of it. And you know what? Listen, even if you don't have any money, we appreciate the support in the chat room. We're super chat interactive. You guys want to interact with the chat and the show, you're part of the show. You know, you guys, the chat room is a integral part of the show. It's almost like a co-host in a way. So you it is. Go ahead. You want to?
It's like an extension of the brain. You know, I mean, if you didn't have the chat, then you're just talking to yourself.
Exactly. It's like being a stripper. You know, if nobody's put money in your underwear, you're just somebody dancing around in your underwear. You know,
they wear underwear.
Well, I guess T-bars
not
would
with
be
the kilt.
Yeah, not with the kilt. But I'm just saying.
Of course not. Okay.
I'm just saying,
All
if
right.
you're a strip, if no one's stuffing money in your pants, you're just somebody dancing around with your underwear on. You know what I mean? So, the donations always help. Anyways, what I was trying to drive at. But if you don't have anything to donate, you can always share and let people know where the home of the counterculture is. Where's the underground? That's right. It's the
Donate your thought.
It's the alternative to the alternative. And Danny, the mistress of the night, is standing at the door that leads below to the underground club with no name above and an eye hole so we can peep out the door and see who it is when you knock.
Yes.
And
I'm the gatekeeper.
You are, and there's going to be prizes, ladies and gentlemen. There's going to be prizes, and
We did talk about prizes today.
We didn't talk about it yet, but we'll talk about it now. So listen, ladies and gentlemen, beginning of every show, Danny is going to give a secret word of the show. And at any point that we call it out in the chat, we'll ask you, we'll say, what's the secret word of the day? The first person that tells us the secret word of the day, boom, they're going to get a prize.
You're going to get something special.
That's right. You don't know what it's going to be yet, but just stay tuned. We'll probably roll that out tomorrow, eh, Danny?
I think that's a good idea.
I know. I got the secret word already planned. Epic Journeyman, are you out?
Well, I'm hoping for the hoverboard. We could get the hoverboard. That'd be a cool prize.
Well,
I mean, are you paying for the prizes, man? Because that's.
Well, they're not going to just come out of nowhere.
Right.
You got to pay for something. You know, everything. You know, if you want to dance, you got to pay the band. You know, that's kind of, you know, common sense. But anyways, Epic Journeyman. So this book, Committee of 300, Ralph Epperson. Wasn't that the guy that originally rolled out the Committee of 300?
I believe so. I don't have it queued up, just off my memory of reading it earlier. I never read that before, actually. That was the first time I read it. It was a couple chapters today. And I'd read other books similar before, but he does a good job of putting it all in perspective, like as far as tying all the other loose strings into one tight knot, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. If you haven't read it, it's definitely worth your look. We're going to read page 107, I believe.
Yeah, and I dropped the link in both the YouTube chat and the Aftermath members only chat over there.
I was listening to a talk that John Coleman was giving in '94, and he was saying that, you know, it goes back really to King George, and that with the whole, like, the Pilgrims and everything, and that they were actually, that's the crown, the family that started that, really, that tighter grip in preparing for the transition into this order, and that they actually gave guns to the Native Americans to fight against the Pilgrims, and also funded pilgrims, whatever you want to call them, to fight against the Native Americans. And that's something else in the book, warfare being allowed to continue between vastly different cultures in areas like India. I mean, you have so many different people there with different ideas, and Africa and stuff like that. But after I read this page, you'll get it.
Yeah, before you read that page, let me get into something real quick. Let's bring it up for the listeners, because if you're new to the show, I've talked about this before. I actually talked about this specifically with Leo Zagami. Leo the Lion Zagami, Illuminati defector. And what I brought up to him was that I had been doing research on initiatory processes to some of the brotherhoods from antiquity. And one of the processes that I noticed was there was a particular initiation where the initiate had to, go through a pit of snakes. And then once he got through the battle of the snakes, he goes to the other side of this pit, and there's a beautiful woman there. It's the queen, and she says, if this initiate will only help kill the king, then he would get the crown, and he would be the king. The thing about it is, if you accept the crown, you're immediately killed. You're immediately killed for accepting that crown. Now, I want to point out the father of America, old George Washington, Mr. Honesty, Mr. Chopping Down the Cherry Tree. When he was offered the crown, everybody venerates him and says, oh, he didn't take the crown. He wanted to be president of America. He didn't want the crown. He didn't want to be king. No, he was in an initiation process, plain as the nose on your face. He did not take the crown and subsequently became the richest man on earth for a really long time. So, old George Washington, the father of our country or whatever, ladies and gentlemen, that's right. He was performing a ritual. He wasn't doing you any favors. He wasn't trying to be some super, protector of freedom or whatever like that. So, Danny, go ahead and get into that.
Yeah. I got this, man. So I'm going to go to the paragraph on 106 just before that. And it's talking about how things will be at the culmination of the plan, which I believe I saw him mention 2050 would be like the ultimate culmination of that.
2050.
Yeah. The economic system shall be based upon the ruling oligarchical class, allowing just enough foods and services to be produced to keep the mass slave labor camps going. All wealth shall be aggregated, I can't read right now, in the hands of the elite members of the Committee of 300. Each individual shall be indoctrinated to understand that he or she is totally dependent upon the state for survival. It's already like that now, isn't it, though?
Right.
I mean, people just don't know what to do if, there's not a loaf of bread on the shelf. Oh, my God, I'm going to die. It's going to snow half an inch tomorrow. Anyway, the world shall be ruled by Committee of 300 executive decrees, which become instant law. Boris Yeltsin is using committee, and this is obviously back then, of 300 decrees to impose the committee's will on Russia as a trial run. That sounds familiar, doesn't it? Courts of punishment and not courts of justice shall exist. And then he has in brackets, well, there you have it. Yeah. Industry is to be totally destroyed along with nuclear powered energy systems. That's been going on, man. That's another thing we got to talk about.
Yes.
Only the committee of 300 members and their elitists shall have the right to any of Earth's resources. Agriculture shall be solely in the hands of the committee of 300, with food production strictly controlled. As these measures begin to take effect, large populations in the cities shall be forced to move to areas, and those Those who
Hold on.
refuse to go shall be exterminated in the manner of the one world government
Hang on.
experiment carried out. Yeah.
Read that again because you broke up. So start that again, please. That's really important, ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead.
The industry, or after, all right, I'll just do the whole.
Yeah.
Industry is to be totally destroyed along with nuclear-powered energy systems. Only the committee of 300 members and their elitists shall have the right to any of the Earth's resources. Agriculture shall be solely in the hands of the committee of 300, with food production strictly controlled. Bill Gates. As these measures begin to take effect, large populations in the cities shall be forcibly removed to remote areas, and those who refuse to go shall be exterminated in the manner of the one world government experiment carried out by Pol, I don't know how to say his name, Pol Pot, or is it Pot?
Yeah,
in Cambodia.
that's it. Pol Pot.
Yeah. Euthanasia for the terminally ill and the aged shall be compulsory. No cities shall be larger than a predetermined number as described in the work of Calgary. Essential workers will be moved. Essential workers.
Essential
Will be
workers.
moved. Yeah. Will be moved to other cities if the one they are in becomes overpopulated. Other non-essential workers will be chosen at random and sent to underpopulated cities to fill quotas. This is bad.
So this is so the thing is that we got this whole thing going on right now, okay, and everyone is starting to relax, okay, across America, across the world. The people are being Michelle Pfeiffered, vaccinated. That's what we say in relation to the vaccination, ladies and gentlemen. We call it Michelle Pfeiffer for YouTube purposes. So, anyways, these people that are getting vaccinated are shedding. And at the same time that they're shedding, people are starting to say, finally starting to realize they don't need a mask. Only now is the time when you probably actually need the mask because of the shedding that's going to be going on with some of these, apparently. I'm not a microbiologist. I'm mockingbirding in the echo chamber of the same stuff that I've been hearing Tenpenny say about this. Dr. Tenpenny. So I'm just repeating it. I'm a repeater right now. But I'm just repeating some of this information because I think it's relational to what we're talking about here. Because we also have the Deagle website predicting, hundreds of millions of deaths in America by 2025. And we see ourselves on the precipice of something, and nobody really knows what the hell's going on anymore with any of this. But what I do know is Epic Journeyman, the committee of 300. I mean, the plan for the New World Order. I mean, is all these things, these measures, the COVID situation, everything. The prices of all the food going up, the prices of wood. $100 for a sheet of plywood. The thing about it is, man, we seem to be spinning completely and utterly out of control. And at some point, we got to get control. What are you thinking?
I'm surprised. You read a lot of this, and it's like, a lot of things that came out in that era. It's interesting. It was in a time when he lived probably down the street from me in Las Vegas in 1994, the author. But, he's talking about, if you read on, he talks about when the population gets whittled down to 1 billion people, that half of them will be in China, basically. 500 million be in China and Japan because they're used to stricter lifestyle than what we are, more accustomed to a regimented routine. That's what he speaks of after in the following pages. And he got some of these things right. He talks about pandemic wiping out a good portion of the population. He talks about that being used specifically for that. He talks about these cities being built for the workers, and the people who are made these essential workers will be shifted to the cities of most need, and the other ones will be shifted to these other cities. And doesn't that kind of ring a bell with these ghost cities that were made in China? They built all these cities, and nobody was in them, right? But here they are, ready to be occupied at any given moment. So that is interesting. I mean, that is a hit. If you're going to see the hits and misses, that one is a hit. Those were made. Those really did get created. And I think that there's another aspect to this that is falling into our time frame, where it looks like we're on the imminent notice, basically, of disclosure. what's real or not about aliens, right? Because they're starting to talk about these UFO things. There's this conference and it's going to come up in Congress. It's supposed to be in June, a Pentagon brief. And whether it's real or not, doesn't really matter. The fact that these things are being acknowledged by the Pentagon as being real, it leaves this other way, right? Yeah, to give a mass deception to people, basically, to call them onto something. You know, you need something big. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's just, you know, I think we've reached this point, and like Danny was saying earlier, people are fed up. People have had enough. People are tired. People are sick and tired of being sick and tired. People are sick of not knowing what day it is. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, they all blur together. It's just like this one giant gray goo.
I never know what day it is unless I have a commitment.
I know. Well, now
and then I still don't know what day it is.
I don't know what day it is either. My name is Jimmy. It's Into the Microcosm. It's Aftermath.fm. It's the middle of the night. We are number 7 on TalkStream Live.
Ooh.
Hey, not bad. Monday night. Hey, Monday night's the slowest night in the bar. It's where the waitresses and the bartenders, they just kick back, tell stories. Occasionally a customer comes in. But Monday night, late night, Aftermath Media, Aftermath.fm. Danni, the mistress of the door that leads below into the underground. Tune in.
Underground.
Under. Tune in, turn on, and find out, ladies and gentlemen. Danny, get ready to shout out that chat room over there. Are you ready? Get ready. This ain't your granddaddy's late night, is it, Danny? How many people?
Not even your daddy's. No.
How many people we got over there in the chat room?
32.
Great. Do you want to shout them out?
I can't wait.
Is there
I thought I was going to get to do it like 10 minutes ago, and then you kept on yapping at me.
I know. Go ahead. Let her rip.
I don't know how to say this. BCALSK. Beach. PCB. BMH 7869. Chris Clayton. DB12. Foxitos 0206. Freedom. Who's your daddy? Jew. JEWE.
All right, the Jews. Nice, they're in there.
Mm-hmm. Jiff 680. Johnson. JTFU 101. Lamyers 56. LA Myers. I'm assuming it's LA Myers. Last one 207. Mac Monster. Mike Montavon. Mr. Pixis 911. Nod so cool. I like that. Rasputin. RL 73 Thompson. R. Lee. So Lows. Senior Low 1. Steve SoCal. Teresa. And Unusual Danny. She's in there.
Oh, nice.
Water. Yeah. She's kind of.
She's hot.
Oh. Let me see. Water Bear, Wave Rider 611, Will Call Magic, and Rowdy. Rowdy is so nice, you gotta say it twice, because for some reason his name's in there 2 times.
Sweet.
Rowdy.
Rowdy 2 times.
Rowdy 2 times.
Sweet. That's almost like in the movie The Godfather. There was Jimmy 2 times or whatever. He said everything 2 times. I'm gonna go get the papers. I'll be right back. All right. John B. Wells. John B. Wells is nipping at our heels, man. But sorry, buddy. We're leaving you in the dust. You can try to play good music, bro, but... Plus, John B. Wells, he followed that Q guy. So I gotta put him on tilt as far as trusting his intellectual prowess. Especially since Kev Baker and a few other people. Rock, I think the guy's name was. Yeah, he traced the IP addresses on that shit like 3 years ago. We told everybody it wasn't anything, but people didn't want to listen. It's all right.
He used to heckle me a little on YouTube, on my old channel. He tried to get me to come on his show. He pretended to be uber nice.
Who? Rock?
Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
A couple years ago, he tried to get me to come on his show.
Yeah, I don't know. Something happened to him. There was a beef or whatever, but it's just to be expected. But the one thing, though, to note was the forensic investigation of millennials is literally unprecedented, man, because the millennials have a compatibility with electronics, and they know a bunch of stuff that, people don't know. And so for them to find, to backtrace and do the backflow on it, Epic Journeyman, so backflowing and getting, IP addresses. What I thought was really interesting recently was I noticed that there was actually a thing that was put together by Obama called the Q Group. And I think that might have had to do with Cass Sunstein. Not 100% on the Cass Sunstein thing, but the thing was funny is that I noticed this was an article that was out in, I don't know, good while back, way before Trump ever hit the stage or whatever. Epic Journeyman, are you there?
I am here. There was a lot of projects started back then that we forgot about. Like the BRAIN Initiative was a big one in the Obama administration. The BRAIN Initiative, it was about mapping the human brain, like literally like down to the molecular, cellular, electronic impulse level, right? And building an AI out of that. What happened to that? It didn't go away. You know what I mean? So they've been working on it this whole time. Whoever was left over in that project, still there, still doing that stuff. And that's one of the things I think that the last couple of years, a lot of people miss is all these projects never stopped. Like we've been distracted with all this other nonsense, and it's like the guy flashing the handkerchief in a magician act this whole time, making us look somewhere else. But meanwhile, all the infrastructure, all the groundwork, everything needs to be done to get these other things in play. I mean, they've been going on. They're still there. I mean, you think that the 5G network just happened by itself? No, it's been being built the whole time, right? Is it a good thing or a bad thing? We don't know yet, but it's there. It happened under our careful watch, supposedly, right? Nobody stopped it because we were too busy thinking other things and being distracted by other things. And we didn't really get a chance to weigh in, did we?
No. No, and the thing is there was never, even in this past election, there was no political discussion about any of the issues that really matter. These were all push-button issues, just the same old, same old. There was no discussion of cognitive liberty. There was no discussion of these behavior modification complex giants in the Silicon Valley modifying your behavior and making you buy things, whether that's a product or an ideology or a political belief system or, some sort of there's been an awakening, all right. The thing about it is, though, the awakening ends up not doing anything. Nothing happens. It's just like the alternative media, really took off in the last 10 or 15 years. It took off slow, gained speed, and then it got as big as it is now. And you look at all the hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and thousands of hours that people have been talking since Alex Jones hit the stage as the premier one and only alternative media. And since then, all the people that have gotten in here and talked about all this stuff, not one single thing has gotten done. Nothing. Because the steam valve gets bigger and bigger. because everybody gets, instead of there being a buildup of pressure and an explosion of participation by the public to make change, it just goes limp. There's nothing there because nobody does anything. Everybody's sitting around, listening to stuff, and nobody's actually putting their feet on the ground. I shouldn't say nobody. What I should say is hardly anyone.
Yeah.
Not
People have gone
enough.
flaccid, Jimmy.
Flaccid is a perfect word. Flaccid, and non-committal, satisfied to lay back and just get some dopamine for the likes and the thumbs ups.
All by design.
Right, by the design of the Committee of 300.
Exactly. Bill Gates did get some pies in his face.
Well, I don't know. I'd watch out. Pies in the face may end up being called deadly assault with a deadly weapon. And
Why? For the life of me, I can't figure out why that's not happening.
Well,
why?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean,
it's not like you can't figure out where these people live.
That's true. It's not like you can't, but the thing is hey, they don't want you to have guns, but they're Blackwater security forces that they hire. That looks just like some guy next door. He's packing heat, and he's a deadly killer. So
I wouldn't send me to do it though, because I closed the wrong eye and I never hit the target. I look like this down the shotgun or rifle, whatever, but I close my right eye. I look with my left eye, so my aim is always going to be off. So I'm not the person to call for that.
It's into the microcosm.
When they come to take you down, when they bring that wagon round, when they come to call on you and drag your poor body down, just one thing I ask of you.
33 people in the chat. That's right.
Illuminati confirmed.
It's all too much. Just forget you knew my name, all right? Don't tell them you knew my name. All right, well, it's late. It's Aftermath FM, and it's into the microcosm late night style. We're your late night buddies. We're the after party after the after party in the underground. And the mistress of the door that leads below is right over there. She's the sugar in your
This is where the cool kids hang out.
Especially late night. That's right. So, Epic Journeyman, are you there?
I am here. Over here on the YouTube chat, John Nelson mentioned Iron Sky. Yeah, totally. That you see, that looks more and more accurate. That's if you haven't seen the movie, it's about Nazis on the moon, and it's meant to be a comedy, but it's it's one of those things. It's about social engineering in a sense. It really is. It's about where these people went after the war. Like they never stopped, right? And in a way, that's what we're seeing. Like these people, these big plans that people had in the past, they didn't go away. They didn't go away. Like just because a war got lost by a country doesn't mean that the people involved stopped with their designs, and that's what that document we were reading is about. I mean, it's been a plan all along, and they think big. They think long term. We think, a couple years ahead. They're thinking lifetimes ahead, Well,
let me ask you a question, man. Where does the PSYOP end? Because I see everybody pointing to shit. It's a PSYOP. It's a PSYOP. It's a PSYOP. It's a PSYOP. If everything's a PSYOP, man, isn't life a PSYOP? I mean, isn't life present you with problems that you have to learn how to overcome psychologically, be able to, control your emotions, control yourself? I mean, is this not the lessons of life? Is not life itself a PSYOP? Because these other ones are artificial, right? Or are they? I mean, isn't overcoming obstacles how we reach our point of wisdom? Hardship. I mean, you don't get wisdom without hardship, man. You know what I mean?
That's true.
I can give you the ribbon, say you won the prize, but if you didn't really win, you didn't really run the fastest, you didn't really work out all that time to get to that place where you could win the prize, then the prize really doesn't matter, does it?
No, and I think that a lot of it is the skill, right? Like we think of it in terms, like we probably rightfully should, of a normal analog life, right? Our life of just, growing up and getting older and, passing on, right? But these people have a plan for immortality. And that's the objective. That's always been the objective. And if you have immortality, then you need to have control in perpetuity forever, right? That's the plan. So to make that happen takes more than one lifetime. And I think that that's where we're kind of misled. We think it's something that's going to, imminently affect us right now. We're short-sighted. But the reality is this kind of plan has way long-range goals. It doesn't matter if it happens in our lifetime to them or not. Ideally, it'd be nice, right? But no, they'll wait. And Danny was talking about astrology earlier. We opened the show with that. That's a big role. Like it has to match up in the stars. It does. If it doesn't match up in the stars, they'll wait to the next cycle because they believe that. It doesn't matter what we believe. They believe that, right? So and that seems to come out over and over again. So if they miss their opportunity this time, well, they'll wait till next time. Might be 100 years from now, but that's the plan.
It's a good way to predict, what might occur, what could occur on certain days. And I think that it's like a two-edged sword, this truth community availability on the internet right now. It's, they probably are allowing it to the point they are to see who's going to say what and who's not going to just behave and obey. But at the same time, we can tell each other about what they're doing. And if, a certain day is coming up, like May Day, we can say, hey, watch out. They might be planning, and then, some stuff might have to get canceled. That's not good for them.
No. Well, the thing about it is there's a thing about July for some reason keeps getting brought up. So they keep talking about 4th of July. 4th of July, 4th of July. So there's something about the month of July that keeps coming up. I don't know what that means. It's like the web bot used to scour the internet and come up with these things that he saw. It would gather all this dialogue and it would gather verbiage across the internet, and then when it would see a bunch of things lining up, it would make predictions based on that. So, like, that would be one of the things. If you keep seeing July popping up, July, then you could think maybe something about July this year. Maybe something's gonna happen. I don't know. I'm on. Tell you what, I'm on. Like I said earlier, I feel like something's about to happen, but something's always about to happen. You know what I mean? But if it just feels like I don't know. This last couple of days, I don't know if it's the weather, what it is precisely, but there's just something. The hair on the back of my neck's been standing up, and I'm not a hairy dude.
It's the full moon and Uranus.
Could be. Going deep into Uranus and trying to find the congruencies for the behaviors is something that I think people. What do they call that when you continually are obsessive over certain details? What do they call that? They say you're anal. Why do they say that?
Yeah.
What does that have?
Anal retentive.
Yeah. Well, what does that have to do? I mean, why does that have to do with obsessive behavior? Why? I
would like to know that. In fact, I'm going to be quite obsessive over that until I find out.
Uh-oh. Obsessive, compulsive, and obsessive. I'm such a kid because there was a video that came out about 2 months ago. And it was called "First Real Pictures of Uranus. What Have We Learned?" And I cracked up for days. It's just,
oh my God.
It's bad, right? But yeah, it's just such a great title, and it's real. It's legitimate. It's just they're showing these photos of this, satellite. Not satellite, but probe going. There you go, a probe of Uranus. Everything about it was funny. The more I read, and it was a totally serious video too. It's just some things never grow.
The comedy
so
was.
That wouldn't be called an anal probe, right? It would just be a uranal probe. Is that what we would call that?
The comedy in Uranus is hidden. It's hidden in plain sight. in that article? Made you laugh,
Something that can make you do wrong.
made you do wrong, made you do right. Al Green, man. Late night style. Infinite microcosm. Aftermath FM. You found it.
Love and happiness. But wait a minute, something's going wrong. Someone's on the phone, 3 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, talking about
Yeah,
how she can make it.
they're
right.
talking about
Yeah,
Freud
yeah.
and the anal.
Happiness is when
So, Freud was a big
you really feel good.
Who's Your Daddy says Freud on the anal.
Nothing wrong.
So look into Freud, because I think Freud was a little funky, man. There's a little something going on over there. Unsavory.
Oh, baby.
And you know,
Wasn't
this,
he?
isn't the sickest part is that didn't Bernays use all the information?
That's what I was gonna say. It was his uncle, right?
Yeah, Bernays used all the information that he got off of Freud to manipulate the public. Just like there was a report on it today on InfoWars. Somebody had just broken off today about the Freud Bernays connection, and even brought up the Torch of Freedom campaign, where the young dilettantes, they were all told to bring their cigarettes down to the parade, and at a precise moment when the paparazzis were all in place, the young ladies pulled out from under their dresses and inside their stockings, inside their bras, next to their breasts. They pulled them out, ladies and gentlemen, not their breasts. They pulled out the torches of freedom. And
I thought that's where we keep our money.
money, but torches of freedom especially, because the ladies wanted to be just like men. They wanted to enjoy the freedom of the penis. See
The paper penis in
right,
the mouth.
right, because the cigarette is the extension of the penis.
I'm sorry. The freedom of the penis. That's going to be a slogan for Bernays. Should have thought of that.
I know. Well, listen, all I'm saying is that for whatever reason, they've determined that the cigarette is an extension of the penis. So I guess that's why you see these dudes now. You got guys that smoking cigarettes, but then there's guys that smoke cigars. So would you think that the guy smoking the cigar, do you think he's packing heat, or do you think he's smoking a cigar because he's less than adequate, and the guy smoking the cigarette is the one packing heat?
Which one drives the Ferrari?
I don't know. That depends. That depends on what kind of cigar he's smoking. He may not be driving a Ferrari if he's not smoking the right cigar. Now, for example, you had what's her face with the dress. She was smoking cigars out of every single orifice, from what I understand. But he never had sex with that woman. That's what I understand too. But I don't know. Is the cigar? I mean, maybe Bill Clinton's. He's just got what it takes. Because I mean,
I tried to say something serious there for a moment, but then Brandy in the YouTube chat,
what'd she say?
Cracked me up kind of hard. She said only the tip. Oh gosh, darn it,
Brandy Lou. What's going on? She's right there. So yeah. Anyways, I don't know. We've sort of gone off kilter. We've lost.
I did actually have something to say there about the paper penis. I mean cigarette thing.
Yeah.
Post code in the films, and they were only allowed to kiss for so long, a few seconds. It was like, I don't know how many seconds anymore, but a whole anything beyond just a few seconds of a kiss was just not allowed. And so they would have their little kiss scene, and they would cut away to showing both of them smoking, and that was the indication that they had some brown chicken brown cow after that kiss.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's one of the best cigarettes there is the one that's after sex. Another good one is with your first cup of coffee in the morning. Who's Your Daddy says BBC Envy in the chat room, and yeah, maybe it is, man. It's trying to compensate, trying to these white dudes smoking these cigars. Maybe they're trying to compensate for being a little bit underweight down there. You never know. I don't know. I don't have that problem. I don't smoke cigars. I smoke cigarettes. So maybe that'll tell you something. And,
You smoke Virginia Slims?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are those called? The 101s or those skinny, super skinny ones? That's actually a sexual fetish, believe it or not.
Is it really?
Women-
Well, stilettos, like high heel shoes, that's the same thing. That's
Yeah.
a phallic
Well, they smoke
symbology there.
stiletto shoes, smoking those more 120s, those super skinny cigarettes. There's
With
like-
the extension, with the little extension, the cigarette holder.
Don't ask me.
Like Ayn Rand. Now you're gonna get me triggered.
Don't-
Oh man.
Don't ask me.
That woman.
Don't ask me why that's a thing. I don't understand what the sexual gratification is on that. With the smoking and just sitting there on camera smoking. But there's a whole thing. Maybe we should do a show on this. There's this whole thing where people watch other people eat and listen to it.
Yes.
It's like literally, there's people making lots of money. All they do is just sit there eating food on the internet and let
Isn't that
people
funny?
listen to
It's
it.
not my bag, but I
No,
don't judge.
no. I thought you were going to suggest we start advertising. We're going to sponsor for underweight penis. Like Viagra. It'd be like this whole thing. Do you have an underweight penis?
Yeah, Brandy. ASMR. She's right. Yeah. I think it is. But I used to have this group of friends that we talked about biblical stuff, and there was this one person that was in the group, and we added him, and we were talking to him for a while, and he's like, I make videos too and stuff. And we watched a couple of his videos, and we ended up noticing that he's smoking the whole time. And he wasn't really making videos to talk about the topic. He was making videos for people who had smoking fetishes. And so you never know.
That's trippy.
But that's also not my thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
I've never smoked, so I can't tell you.
Well, I don't know. I think you're pretty smoking myself, but that's just my opinion. But what do I know? I'm just Jimmy right here, Aftermath.fm, late night style, the after party after the after party in the underground, in the alternative to the alternative. Right here, Aftermath.fm. Tune in, turn on, find out right here, right now. I might not be Mr. Right, but I'm Mr. Right now. There, I spewed out a bunch of one-liners real quick here before we come to the end of the show, just in case I forget any. So
Did it hurt, Jimmy?
It didn't, because it flows out of me like.
You ruined the joke, Jimmy.
I
You're
did?
supposed to say, "Did what hurt?"
I didn't, but see, that's how I am. I keep going, and that way, if I keep going, I never get any on me. It's hard for you to shoot a dart in old Jimmy because I keep moving, man. You know what I mean? I'm here and I'm there. I got reflexes like a cat, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't play around. I see something coming, I go, psh, I'm on the other way. I don't even.
Ready to strike.
I am, but I don't even acknowledge it, man. I just keep going. But hey, Solos, who's your daddy? JTFU 101 Johnson, Jew. Freedom 33, DB12, good to see you. Clayton. Let me see. Chris from the UK is in there. BMH. Beach PCB. Pacific. Is that Pacific Beach? I don't know. BC. I don't know what that is. You got to get more creative, see? The more creative you are with your name. Mike Montalban. MG Nichols is in there. Good to see you, MJ. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate the compliment. Rasputin. Let's see who else in there. Solos, of course, is there. Steve from SoCal. T-Bowed. Unusual Danny. Wave Rider 611. What's up, Wave Rider? So, yeah, man. Aftermath.fm. We're going to be here every night after Clyde. So come on back, and we're going to start building this thing up. We got a whole bunch of great ideas for you. And we got Star Trek archaeologists coming up. We got Trucker Tuesdays, where it's going to be the Trucker Chronicles. We'll get the inside dope, the inside scoop from people in the industry. We'll find out what kind of shipments are moving. We'll see what's going on. We'll get a real feel for what's happening. Plus, we love the truckers, man. You know what I mean? So truckers are always driving around late night style. So they need a place to hang out. They don't want to sit over there with old George Snorri. Want to come over here where the action's happening? Well, that's right.
We got to play Convoy, right? We got to play Convoy leading in.
We'll definitely play Convoy. I'll walk it like I tuck it. I'll walk it like I tuck it. That's right. All right, so listen, time to go, you guys. Who's your daddy? Good to see you. Last one. 10 Jocko. Everybody really. SR Low 1. Everybody in the chat room. Come back tomorrow night. We're Super Chat Interactive. And get ready for that secret word of the... get that secret word of the show. It will be in the beginning. Listen for Danny to release the secret word. We call it out. You're in the chat room. Boom! I'm going to send you a prize. And we got some kick-ass hats, embroidered style. They're black with that logo that you see. If you're a member, you see our logo there on the thing. So come on down tomorrow night, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget, stick around all day. This is the place to hang out. There's some great shows here. Every single show here that I've heard is great, and I feel privileged and lucky to be here in a group of people that's going to inspire me to get better and better, because everybody here is so great, and the bar gets raised every single day with the shows that go on here on Aftermath.fm. Come down, be a supporter if you can. If you can't support it financially, you know, like I said earlier, share it out. You know, let people know where it's at, man. You know what I mean? Let people know where it's at. All right, you guys, say goodbye. It's time to go.
Aloha, everybody.
Bye, guys.
All right, see you guys later. Yeah, have a great night. All right, so there it is. So we are out of there. Let me.
I barely made it, man. It's such an adventure.
He wants my
car broke down.
Who's your daddy wants my hat, man. Everybody would like.
He's got to know the word of the day. Then
you know what?
Get in there first.
No, he wants my actual hat.
The one that's on your head.
I think so. I mean, I don't know if he saw us on YouTube. I think he was over there. But if he needs, he wants to get one of them hats, man. Yeah,
he's got a lot of hats.
I know. People are gonna love them hats, man. Yeah, thanks, bro. Number 8.
It'd be like a jersey, a pre-worn hat, right? It'd be a memento. It'd be like having Walter Payton's jersey. So it'd be Jimmy Jean's broadcast hat for show 312.
Goodness.
Yeah, man. So somebody else in the chat room just said we were number 8. Pretty good. Fuck yeah, it's pretty good. On a Monday night, no one even knows we're here. So that I'm super stoked, man, on it. I'm really glad, man. So there's still, 100 people dropped off the website as soon as we went off the air. So I'm gonna close that out. That's done. So that's done. So that's good. I'm happy with everything. I mean, it was a good show, I thought.
There's, not enough time in a week to talk about all of that.
No. All right, you guys, let's get going, man. I've done 2 shows today, and I'm super burnt. So you guys ready to get going? Head on out.
You going to the Kentucky Derby? Here, Danny. I mean, it's close.
Hell no.
It's coming up. No, you don't have
way.
the hat? No way?
No way, man. I know better than that.
Acoustic.
People who live here don't actually go to that.
Well, yeah, but that's what's funny. Like that's how it is. Like here in Hawaii too. Like all the tourist places, nobody goes to those tourist places. They don't work there.
We know better.
Right.
All right, you guys.
I mean, I've been to Churchill Downs a few times to the track, and for some reason, whenever I bet on a horse, it ends up going in the broke leg wagon. So, I'm not good luck for the horses. I should just not go back. It's sad.
I used to love going to the racetrack. I
went to Del Mar quite a bit, actually.
My grandma used to take me to the racetrack with her when I was a little kid. Go bet on horse. They'd give me $20. I could bet $2 a race.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, my parents did that for me too with dog races in Tijuana places.
Oh goodness.
Yeah.
All right.
That's a different story.
Let's get going, man.
All right, have a good one.
All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Bye, everybody.
When the things you know are right are far from what they seem, when the past becomes future and time becomes a dream, when the light of God is the only thing in life that will redeem. Welcome, welcome to the dawn. When the voice you hear commands you to entertain the absurd, when you do, the action unlocks the apocalypse that you've heard.